Battlefront 3 rough news.
Ooh, this one's gonna hurt. This
Uh
one's
oh.
gonna hurt. I
Uh
know. If you didn't know, also Battlefront 4 was in development,
oh.
and I
What?
created a ton of really cool videos back in the day, which I really want you guys to check out if you haven't already. Because not a lot of many people, because not a lot of people know about this.
I don't.
What?
If you go to my channel and you scroll down a little bit, you get to the playlist, Making of Star Wars Concepts and Behind the Scenes. A ton of these concepts were actually from Battlefront 4, and they're really freaking cool because of the different things. Darkside Mace Windu, Full Power Anakin, Darth Maul as a Jedi, Vader with a redeemed suit, Vader's light side suit, so this is if you turn to the light side after,
That's
Dark
cool.
Side Luke, Vader with his most powerful suit with a gold lightsaber. I mean, there are really a ton of different things.
These are awesome ideas.
A ton of other stuff like concept art and things like that, which are pretty interesting, including original script treatments, which you guys would probably enjoy checking out. Today's video is about the sad truth regarding the former Star Wars game Battlefront 3 that was going to be released, and it was 99% complete, and then they scrapped it.
What?
This is
Why?
really a big mistake.
What about the sense of pride and accomplishment? Will somebody think about the sense of pride and accomplishment?
You know, if they want to capitalize on everything that they have going on, I mean, LucasArts did a fantastic job of that. We should be getting Force Unleashed 3. We should be already on Force Unleashed 4 or 5 by now. You know, unless the story is dead and done. Then
Yeah, Force Unleashed, awesome video game series. I don't know why they haven't made more sequels to that. Yeah, it was good.
that's fine, but we all know how they like to make spin-offs, and they can do that. I feel like it's been long enough now to come out and say Star Wars Battlefront 3 was going to be legit incredible, and the fact that it got canceled.
Yeah, but they also said that about Battlefront 2, and we all know how that turned out.
2 yards from the finish line is an absolute crime. Gamers don't know what they were robbed of. What? Now, Michael Barclay is designer for video games, and I guess he knows, you know, a lot of the stuff that went down with Battlefront 3. The fact that this didn't come out is really robbing a lot of the fans and robbing the companies of a lot of money. Because could you imagine the amount of cash that would have been spent on just this game alone? And then on top of that, if
it came out in a decent state and it didn't take hundreds of thousands of hours to unlock one character through sheer gameplay only, unless you paid money to unlock a character, sure.
you want to buy, let's say, different skins, or, you know, like the whole Fortnite thing that they're doing. You want to buy different weapons or different colored suits, lightsabers, whatever, man. Barclay's claim isn't a new one. Way back in 2012, Free Radical co-founder Steve Ellis also claimed that Star Wars Battlefront 3 was 99% done.
Dang.
This prompted a former LucasArts employee to lash out at the studio, which has since undergone multiple iterations before opening under Deep Silver in 2021. This 99% complete stuff is just BS, the former employee claimed to GameSpot at the time. A generous estimate would be 75% of a mediocre game.
Ooh.
Maybe it wasn't a good game. Maybe it was crap. But, you know, from what I've learned, I don't really trust corporate people who pencil push and count numbers.
Yep.
I trust more so the people that are creating the game, which are much more, most of the time, you know, they're not so focused on just the money. They're focused on the story and making a really cool game. And when it comes to Star Wars, you have to be careful who you hire, as we've seen time and time again. After, you know, George Lucas, of course, who oversaw everything, most of everything. You know, was it a bad game? Maybe, you know, some guys saying it was mediocre, another guy saying it was amazing. I think it would have been really good. And, you know, if they had learned anything,
well, there's no way to know because it's never going to come out now.
From Battlefront 2, they would have taken this and created something really special. They went on to claim that Free Radical continually missed milestones and the game didn't work in 2007, but that LucasArts was desperate for what was a next-gen follow-up to Battlefront on Xbox and PS3. Not the least because Star Wars Battlefront and its sequel sold extremely well on PS2 and Xbox. The claims led to a war of words in the press, with Ellis posting a lengthy statement claiming that Battlefront 3 being 75% of a mediocre game was false, while pointing to leaked footage that he said backed him up.
Like this like mediocre game or 99% of like a badass game, this is all like semantics or whatever. This is all subjective, all right? It's like what is this? Is the game in like an alpha state? Is it in a beta state? What is it? All right? You got one dude saying one thing, another dude saying the other thing. I have no idea.
He went on to say that LucasArts was a company with problems in '08. Shortly after Ellis' comments, LucasArts was shuttered by Disney, which had acquired Star Wars the year before. IGN reached out to Barclay to see if he had an additional context to add, but did not receive a response. Yeah, of course not. Plenty of footage and even a playable build would emerge in the years that followed, allowing fans to decide for themselves what they were missing. Much of that footage would ultimately be pulled, with Battlefront 3 ultimately being lost to history. EA would later reboot the series, though with notable differences from the original LucasArts games, such as how it handled space battles. The original Battlefront games remain beloved fan favorites for the way that they combine the prequel and original trilogy eras, pitting players against each other in large-scale space battles.
Original Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 were awesome when they came out. And what were they on? Like PlayStation 2? PlayStation 3? Xbox? I don't remember. Was it 360? But like I remember playing both of those games and I was excited for, okay, it says right down here, PS2 and Xbox and PC. These games were awesome, all right? I remember wasting so many hours in these games as like a little kid. So much to the point where I played it so much that like I essentially, like, you know, you load in with as like a normal soldier and you have all these like power ups to where you can essentially just like one shot everything, regen your health, regen your stam and everything. And I did all that. I had all those for all the armies. All right. Those games were awesome. So let's see what he has to say.
When they could board and attack enemy capital ships. It included an extensive single-player game, which EA's games would not get until the sequel. So this is unfortunate. You know, I really did enjoy playing Battlefront 2 later on in my life. I didn't have an Xbox. I didn't have the first generation Xbox when I was a kid, so I didn't actually get to play Battlefront 2. I got to play JK2, you know, a ton of that on the computer, but I didn't actually get to play Battlefront 2 until years later, you know, when I could get consoles and stuff like that, and PC. Now, there's a really easy fix to this. Release the game now. Release Battlefront 4, because there's a million different concept arts that were created for Battlefront 4. Release Force Unleashed 3, the Darth Maul game, 1313. I mean, 1313 looked like...
There are so many potential, like, Star Wars spin-off games that have the potential to be, like, blockbusters, all right? Unless you're, like, in the mix and you kind of know what he's talking about already, it's like you don't really know. But I will say there's a lot of really good Star Wars games that I've seen like concepts for and like videos, and it's like, why aren't these getting made? These would sell.
Like a really nice game, but I guess it just went against, you know, the lore that they wanted to create, that Disney wanted to create going forwards. So I'm surprised that, you know, LucasArts didn't follow through with this game and release it. But I think with the lack of games that EA has produced over, you know, Disney's acquisition of Star Wars, Lucasfilm, I think it would be very simple for them to just pick up those files and finish it and maybe tweak some things and release the game. You know, not everything has to be extremely canon. A lot of us enjoy stuff like Visions, which is just Legends kind of stuff, or just not even. It's just an offshoot thing that lets us have fun. So
yeah, so Star Wars Visions on, I think, was it Disney Plus, is just a bunch of little short stories. Whether or not they're actually canon is a whole nother thing. But the point is, it got released under Disney, all right? And it was like a lot of like really good short stories, a lot of really good action, you know, despite the fact that some of them are like either like anime, you're either hit or miss on that, or you're into like 3D stuff. You're in, you know, that's either a hit or miss. But I'd say Visions was like overall good.
So I hope that one day we'll get to see some stuff that wasn't completed. I can't imagine the amount of things that were almost released and weren't that we will never know about. But hey, that's the name of the game, and we just got to kind of play with the stuff that we're given and just forget the rest, I guess. But we can always theorize. So let me know what you think about this. Would you have wanted to play Battlefront 3, or are you happy that we didn't get this quote-unquote mediocre game or quote-unquote amazing, legit, incredible game?
I would have loved to see what like Battlefront 3 would have been like. You know, they have all these like versions of characters that they would have like came out with, like full power Anakin, light side Darth Vader. Yeah, you know, it's an FPS, so W right there, or like a third person, whatever. Yeah, I would have liked to have played that. I wish that would have come out, but now we'll never know. So
as always, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one. And until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.
yeah, this is another good video, man. It's really sad that because of Disney, it's like Disney cannot get anything right besides like little kid shows, little kid movies. You know, anything else, they have no idea what they're doing. Just absolutely none. And that's sad. Let's see. What is this? Every time we hear more about Battlefront 3, the more sad I get about its cancellation. It could have been the best game of the original 3. Yeah. It could have been. It could have been a contender. But whatever. The fact there would have been a story where we hunt Jedi and have land and space battles simultaneously hurts. Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, in Battlefront 2, there is like a somewhat professional scene, and like a lot of it is just based around like the character battles, you know, like the hero versus hero or whatever. And I've seen a couple of those videos. It's cool to like watch that stuff. I have no idea really what's going on. It's more or less like a 3D fighter, more or less, with like Jedi and like all the real characters with like blasters and stuff. And I think that's cool, but it's just sad that like there's no I don't know, implementation of like space battles or whatever, and it kind of feels like I'm missing out or whatever. But it is what it is. Good video, man. All right, that's about it. See ya.